Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome in to this Tuesday live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Schultz here with you. So glad to have you with us. Got a loaded show ahead as we'll bring you the latest news and rumors on your Kansas City Chiefs. We're talking two separate trade targets today. Jahan Dotson as well as Treylon Burks. We'll get to some rumors on both those guys coming to Kansas City coming up in a matter of moments. Also, we are going to preview the Chiefs' upcoming matchup against the Chicago Bears on Thursday night. We will let you get to know the King, our new favorite left tackle. We'll go into complete detail on him and the highway robbery that Brett Veach made, drafting him in the first round, or in the second round, rather, in this past April's draft. And we'll do a Q&A mailbag coming up later. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. As you guys file in, shout out your city. Let us know where you're at. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling here on this Tuesday afternoon. We're coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios here in beautiful downtown Dallas, Texas on this fine afternoon. A little hot out there, but hey, we're inside. We're hanging in as we're ready for some Chiefs football this week. Joey Peterson on the ones and twos, hanging out here with me today as well. Joey, already the final week of the preseason as we're just a couple weeks away from real football now.
And it couldn't come fast enough. It's so funny. Every single summer, we're so excited for preseason football. And then preseason football starts, and we're like, gosh, this is awful. Let's get into the regular season.
I could not wait for that game on Saturday to end.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's a brutal watch.
This Thursday, we're not going to see the Chiefs starters play. So it is going to be a long night Thursday, but thankfully after Thursday, it'll all be over with, and we'll get ready for the regular season. Where are you guys? Go ahead.
I do got to give Matt Rader a shout-out in the chat from Knoxville, Tennessee. Matt, I am a proud Tennessee Volunteer alum, so go Vols, baby.
Love it. Knoxville, Tennessee in the house from Matt Rader checking in. Got Paul and Tongi, got Tim in Wichita, Tony in El Paso. Tony wanted to make a point that he's not from El Paso. He just happens to live there. He's from Dallas. So good to know, Tony, I guess. William in Parkville, Missouri. Got Alex saying Chiefs. Let us know where you're at. We'd love to shout you out here as we roll along here on today's show. So last week we asked you to see how many Chiefs quarterbacks you can name all time. Now I want to talk running backs. How many Chiefs running backs can you name? Let's see who can come up with the most. Me and Joey will not give away any hints because we don't want to make this easy on you guys. But I want to see how many running backs you can come up with. Who can answer the most in their comment here? And I don't care if they started, if they were a backup, how long they were on the team or not. I just want to quiz y'all and see who can come up with the most Chiefs running backs all time. Joey, like I said, we won't say any names, but there are so many to choose from and so many great backs the Chiefs have had over the years.
Yeah, I mean, some pretty big names come to mind pretty quickly. Curious to see how deep these guys can go. I think I could get probably 8, 9, maybe 10. How many you think you could go over or under 16?
I think I could go over 16.
Okay, 20.
20, that would probably be right up my number. I think I could go about 20.
Yeah.
How many can you guys name? Tony's got one, Isaiah Pacheco. That's a start.
There we go.
Let's see, Tim's got another. Okay, so we're at 2 so far. Who can come up with the most? I want to see who can come up with the most Chiefs running backs they can name all time. Let us know in the chat right now. Weigh in and give us a name that comes to mind. See how many you can come up with, and we'll circle back later and see who's got the most in the chat. While we wait on that, let's go ahead and tell you about today's sponsor. That is Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for last-minute tickets for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time has a new feature, by the way, called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have this thing called the Super Deal, and I got to tell you, folks, if you stumble upon one of these super deals, you have found something spectacular, folks. Here's how it works. Choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, get the visual. Very great how that works. So you get an idea of what it looks like. And then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. And, folks, here's what we're offering for you. Listen to this. If you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports, you will get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Joey's putting it in the chat right now as well. Game Time, proud partner of the Chiefs Report. Glad to have them on board here on today's show. So it looks like Pooh Bear's got the most. I see, what is that, 4 names? There's Mark with quite a few as well. What is that, about 6 names for Mark? We can do better than that, guys. I want to see how many you can come up with. Also, very curious, a little fan survey for you. Who is your favorite Chiefs player right now? And Patrick Mahomes, I feel like, is too easy. I almost feel like even Travis Kelce's too easy at that front. Maybe even Chris Jones. Not named Mahomes, Kelce, or Chris Jones. Who would you pick as your favorite Chiefs player? Joey, which direction would you go?
I think I'm either leaning Isaiah Pacheco or the rookie Xavier Worthy. I think the way that Pacheco runs the football is unlike any way a running back runs the football in today's version of the NFL.
He's old school.
So hard. Every single carry, it looks like it's his last. So I think I got to go Pacheco.
Pacheco's a good choice. Let's see what the chat's saying. Mark says Justin Ross. He might not be on the roster much longer, Mark, so enjoy it while it lasts. Jordan says Pacheco. Tuddy says Rashee Rice. Pooh Bear says Chris Jones. Terrence says Ed Pollock. Let's see. We got Terrence saying Jamal Charles. I think he's still naming running backs from earlier. Let's see. What else? Jordan saying Pacheco. Your brother-in-law back in the chat. Good to see Jordan here again.
Always.
A real one. A Chiefs diehard. Good to see you, Jordan. What else? Name me some of your favorite Chiefs players on this year's squad. I got to show love to Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie has been so good the last 2 years, and I think it surprises most people. The guy doesn't even have an interception yet in his career. He's been that good without even picking off passers yet. I think he gets the first one this year. I think that's a pretty safe bet at this point. Who is your favorite Chiefs player? Jordan says, prior to last year, I was a big Kadarius Toney guy. Ugh. No longer. Okay. Yeah, Jordan, I don't blame you. Tony says he's got a question for the mailbag. We'll look for that later. Get your questions in. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Terrence says Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton's another good answer as well. Let us know in the chat right now. Are you ready for Chiefs football? The real thing, folks. If you are, I want to spam the chat right now. I want to see as many C's as we can over this next minute. We got close to 50 people watching already. This will kind of tell the algorithm, get YouTube's attention that we're live, and try to get more people to join us to be a part of what we're doing here. I want to see as many C's as we can over this next minute, and we're going to find out who's going to be the early favorite to be the MVP on today's show. Joey's already got the C's going. He's going to shout out all the C's in the chat. So let's get this thing cracking here and see how many C's we can get over this next minute. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Paul, Tony, Tim, Tony, Paul, Terrence, James, Paul, Tony, James, Tony, Paul. Come on, guys, keep it going. I see some new people. I got James. We got Pooh Bear, Terrence, James, Tony, James, Paul, Pooh Bear, Mark Murray, James. He's spamming C. Tim Johnson, Mark Murray, Heavinsent. I think that's what that means.
Okay.
James, Mark, Heavinsent, William, Mark, Pooh Bear, Jordan, Heavinsent, William, Tony, Jordan, William, Mark, Jordan, Paul, William, James, Paul, Heavinsent, Mark, Paul, Terrence, Pooh Bear, Jalen, Tony, Paul, Heavinsent.
30 seconds gone by.
Paul,
Keep going.
Pooh Bear, William, Heavinsent, Paul, James, Jalen, Paul, William, Heavinsent, Tony, Jalen, Tim Johnson, Sam, he's spamming C, Terrence, Pooh Bear, Paul,
10 seconds.
IT admin, Heaven sent Tony, James, Pooh Bear, Jalen. Heaven sent Jalen, James, Paul, Tony, James. IT admin. Heaven sent James, Pooh Bear. 10 seconds. Keep it going. Terrence, Tony, James. Tim, Paul, James, Tony, Pooh Bear, James. 5 seconds left. Keep going. James, Heaven sent, Pooh Bear, James, Heaven sent, James, Darius Frisbee, Pooh Bear, James, and Heaven sent.
Very good. Very good work, everybody. Chat was popping. Very good time today here as we already set the tone early. Good to see the chat already rolling. So many of them in there. Who do you think got the most?
I got to go with James, Tony, or Paul.
Heavenson had a nice late run.
Yes, a good late run, but I think James, Tony, and Paul were just very consistent from start to finish.
So there you have it. Good job there, Chet. Thanks for getting things already going and making this happen today. Super Chat menu, if you want to party with us, if you want to go up on a Tuesday, here's how you can do so. $sign next to the chat box. You want to contribute, support the work we're doing here on the Chiefs Report. First-time Super Chatters, you get the KC chant. $5 Super Chat, we'll do the Mahomes song. $10 Super Chat, we'll take down some shots. We'll go to the Patron zone. As you can see, we got the tequila in hand, ready to go. $25, we will do a spicy jelly bean, get bean boozled. I got all sorts of options. Sriracha, jalapeno, cayenne, habanero, and Carolina Reaper here for you. $50 Super Chat, we will get out the beer bong and all its glory right here. And then if we get 200 collectively, we will do our first ever boot since taking over the Chiefs Report here. That's 3 beers in one. We chug it as fast as we can here on the program. So let's see what you guys can do. If you guys can make it happen here on today's show. $sign next to the chat box. And if you send in a Super Chat, you'll get priority in the mailbag segment we'll be bringing coming up later. So stay tuned for that. I would love to see us have a party and go balls to the walls here on today's show. But it's up to you guys. It comes down to you guys. If you want to party, if you want to make it happen, $sign next to the chat box. We shall see. On today's show, the news and rumors and your Kansas City Chiefs. We'll also talk Chiefs and Bears, preview that game, and we'll get to know Kingsley a little bit. Got a little thing that we'll do on him as we'll give you some all access on the King, and then we'll do a Q&A rumors mailbag as well. Before we begin today's show, though, we need to make sure you guys like the video. We're at 19 likes right now. I want to get to 30 before we officially start today's show. I'll get out a cold Miller and take a big gulp when we get to 30 likes. But we need you guys to like the video. We understand not everybody gets Super Chat, and that's okay. But what you can do to help us out, a free way to support us here on the Chiefs Report, is simply by hitting that like button. When we get to 30, then we'll get this show started. We'll crack open a Miller. We'll have a good time today. So like it up and let us know in the chat when you liked it. We'll shout you out. I see Tony's already liked it. We're at 23 likes now, 7 away from starting the show. Who else is going to like it? Who else is out there?
Paul's got us.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. 24 now, 6 away. 6 away from starting the show. James says, let's go. Tony says, all right, liked it. Thank you, Tony. I never have to worry about Tony and Paul. They always make it happen. Pooh Bear liked it. Jordan liked it. Thank you, Jordan. 4 more. 4 more. Terrence liked it. Thank you, Terrence, for that. 4 away. 2 away. 2 away. And then we can get this show started and talk some news and rumors here in just a moment. 2 more. Darius says, for the cause. I like it. For the culture here. And there we go. 30 likes.
We're there, baby.
There's the Miller. Open and ready to go. To the kingdom. Let's have ourselves a day. Go Chiefs. And let's enjoy ourselves. It's Tuesday. One more preseason game. We're going to be live here on Thursday night. You won't want to miss it. Cheers to everybody out there. Let's go Chiefs. There we go. All right. Without further ado, let's get started with our news and rumors here on this Tuesday afternoon, live on the Chiefs Report. Loaded show ahead here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We are talking all about trade rumors today. Jahan Dotson Could he be on his way to Kansas City? What about Treylon Burks? Will Brett Veach be making a move to bring in one of these trade block wide receivers before the season starts? We'll dissect both of those new Kansas City trade rumors coming up in just a moment. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. If you want the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl again, I need you to like today's video. I've been told if we get 500 likes on today's video, that guarantees a Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs. So why even jinx it? Why even worry about it? Don't make me come find you because you didn't like today's video. Like it up if you want a Super Bowl title. Again, we'll get started with today's show. The folks over at the KC Kingdom are suggesting that the Chiefs potentially make a trade for Washington Commanders wide receiver Jahan Dotson. It's no secret that Dotson looks like the odd man out in the Washington organization. They've changed things up, right? They have a new GM there. They have a new head coach in Dan Quinn, a new quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Dotson, although a former first-round pick, hasn't lived up to the build of a first-round pick to this point, but could be a guy that Brett Veach potentially looks to as a reclamation project, if you will, a chance to maybe reach his full potential at a pretty cheap cost. Greg Rosenthal of Around the NFL with NFL Network posted this within the last couple of days. The Commanders coach talk, the more I wonder if Jahan Dotson is on their week one roster, whether he's traded or even if he makes the team for that matter. Could he be potentially cut? Then, to add more fuel to the fire, Dotson was doing an interview with WAPO, with the Washington Post, and he had this to say, directly talking about Dan Quinn. DQ didn't draft me. Each and every year in your profession, you got to prove it. You got to prove what you're worth and what you're capable of doing. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So, we'll dive a little further here in just a second, but this is intriguing. All of a sudden, you're telling me that a player of the caliber of Jahan Dotson, who, granted, has not been in a very good offense. I understand that he hasn't played great his first two seasons, but he hasn't been put in a position to succeed much either. Potentially could be available. You have my interest. Here's more from KC Kingdom, what they had to say about the possibility. Adding a young playmaker like this to the Chiefs' receiving corps would be a massive win. Not having Brown to start the season isn't ideal. And now that it appears that Kadarius Toney's time in Kansas City may be coming to an end, Rashee Rice also have been in a lot of drama this season, so getting another pass catcher would pay major dividends. This is something to watch closely as we approach the regular season. Now, personally, I doubt that Jahan Dotson is ever going to become a superstar in the National Football League. But that's okay. He doesn't need to be a superstar for this Kansas City Chiefs team. Where he fits in is the idea of a talented young receiver on a cheap contract that could be a good fit here. And if it doesn't work, what did it really cost you? That's what fascinates me, and we'll get to the trade idea here in a moment. Here's more on Dotson, the former first-round pick out of Penn State. He's had 2 straight seasons with over 500 yards receiving, which is something that not McCole Hardman can say, not something that Kadarius Toney or Sky Moore could say. So you're already improving there. He's played in 29 career games with 26 starts. And here's the numbers that we're talking about when it comes to Jahan Dotson. His rookie season had 7 touchdowns, which I'll take anywhere. And doing it in Washington is something else. 523 yards, 35 catches. The year after that, his numbers slightly down when it came to yardage. Went from 523 to 518. His catches did go up from 35 to 49. Yards per catch went down a bit. Touchdowns went down to 4 yards after catch, went to 115. And here's what we're talking about as far as that contract goes on that rookie deal. Remember, the Chiefs have plenty of cap space. They can afford to take on a couple more players if they want to. They don't have to, but if they want to, they could easily afford this. Just $4.1 million against the cap this year for Jahan Dotson in 2024. So what could a potential trade look like? I don't think it's that much. I think you're looking at giving up about a 5th-round pick to bring in Jahan Dotson at this point, and a guy that would have an immediate impact on this Chiefs team compared to waiting on a 5th-round pick next offseason. I like the idea. I'm all in. What about you guys? Should the Chiefs trade for Jahan Dotson? Weigh in. Let us know in our pinned comment today. Type T for trade, P for pass. Let us know in the comments section below. Chiefs watch party season is alive and well here on the Chiefs Report, as we're going to be with you for the Chiefs matchup against the Chicago Bears coming up on Thursday night. You will not want to miss out on that. Of course, we're going to be live for the opener against the Baltimore Ravens as well, in addition to bringing you our daily news and rumors, our live shows every Tuesday, Q&A mailbags, breaking news, and more. It's all in one place right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now for free. Never miss a moment. Lock us in. You'll be glad you did. The other wide receiver trade rumor that is making the rounds for Kansas City is Tennessee Titans wide receiver Treylon Burks, as Bleacher Report has named Burks as the Chiefs' top trade target before the season begins. Here's more from Alex Ballantyne. Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, and Justin Ross are all running out of chances to prove they can do something in Kansas City. And Marquise Hollywood Brown's shoulder injury leaves it short-handed. Treylon Burks has a lot of physical attributes that make him an intriguing prospect, but he hasn't been able to put things together on the field, and he's slipping down the pecking order in Tennessee. Personally, I am not high on Treylon Burks at all. At all. I didn't like him coming out of Arkansas to begin with. And now what he's done in Tennessee is just absolutely nothing at this point. And what do I tell you all the time here, folks? The best availability is availability. And since entering 2022, this has been the biggest problem for Treylon Burks. Not only has he not been productive, but he can't stay healthy. Since entering the league in 2022, he has missed time due to injuries, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, 5 separate injuries in a 2-year stretch. You know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like Kadarius Toney 2.0. I hate to say it, but that sounds like exactly what this is when it comes to Treylon Burks. I'm almost calling him Kadarius Toney at this rate, folks. So this idea that he's this top trade target for Kansas City, that he is the guy that they need, I'm just not buying at all. I'm calling BS. What do you think? Should the Chiefs trade for Treylon Burks? Why for yes and for no? Why in the comments section, let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for last-minute tickets for the best seats and the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets easy so you can see your favorite teams play live. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Whether you're talking tickets to Chiefs games, Royals games, Sporting Kansas City, they got it all for you. And they have these things called super deals. When you stumble upon a super deal, you have found something, folks. Here's how it works. Choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat. And I've done this before at Arrowhead, folks, with Game Time. You can, too. See if you like that seat or not. Get the visual. Then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Use the app features listed in the Customize Your Spot, and you can customize it and figure out whether how you like it, how you want to use Game Time, if it's for you or not. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. More on Treylon Burks here, the 2022 first-round pick out of Arkansas, Woo Pig Suey. Last season, career lows in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. It was a sophomore slump for him, to say the least, last year. And we talk about him struggling to get on the football field and struggling to make an impact even when he's there. He's played in just 21 career games in his first 2 seasons with 14 starts. But the silver lining in all this is the trade when it costs you a lot. This is a guy that there's a decent chance he gets cut here in a couple of weeks. If you want to trade for him, or if you want to just wait till he's potentially cut and get him for nothing, you can trade for him for probably about a 7th-round pick. That's all it would take. Personally, though, I feel like Burks is a waste of time because I don't think he's going to see the field much, and the injury issues, to me, are just a major red flag. So even when he's out there and not getting much and he can't stay healthy, it's a no from me. You look at the numbers of what he's done in his career, and it has not been good. Just one touchdown in 2 seasons. You can see his catch numbers in the same amount of games, might I add you, went from 33 catches in 2022 to 16 in 2023. Went from 444 yards in 2022 to 221. His average did go up a little bit from 13.5 to 13.8, but he has certainly left a lot to be desired at this juncture for the former first-round pick. So, if you had to pick, knowing what we have presented you today, would you trade a 5th-round pick for Dotson, or would you rather trade a 7th-round pick for Burks? Which trade would you choose between these two? If it's Dotson, type JD for Jahan Dotson. If it's Treylon Burks, type TB for Treylon Burks. You know me, I'm typing JD. To me, this is an easy call between the two. Which one you going with? Type JD for Jahan Dotson. Type TB for Treylon Burks. Let us know in the comments section. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Do your part to secure a Super Bowl win for your Kansas City Chiefs. We need at least 500 likes to get that Super Bowl title. Like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Have a great day. Make it a good one. All right. That is one down. 3 more to go. All right. Joey Peterson back here with me now. Joey, I've presented both cases to you. Which one are you leaning towards, Dotson or Burks, with those 2 trade scenarios?
I'm different than you in the fact that I was high on Treylon Burks coming out of Arkansas, and that's probably because I'm a little jaded because my dad went there, so
okay.
I am an Arkansas fan. I thought he could be like another Deebo Samuel. I really did. He's disappointed, obviously. I think Jahan Dotson is definitely the one I would go to out of the 2 of those, but with where Kansas City is right now, I don't think you need to make either of these trades personally.
Yeah, I would do the Dotson trade. I wouldn't do Burks. I would.
Okay.
I would do the Dotson trade, a 5th-round pick, and a guy that can step in right away. You take on the rookie contract, not having to pay much. You can afford it. That's something I would do. The Burks trade is a no-go for me. And even, I'll say this, I'll take it even a step further, Joey. If he is available even as a free agent in a couple of weeks, I'm not so sure I would even sign Treylon Burks then.
Would you sign him over like Kadarius Toney or Sky Moore? Like, would you rather keep those guys on the roster and not sign Treylon Burks?
I'd rather keep Sky Moore.
Okay.
I wouldn't rather keep Toney, if you're making me choose.
Okay.
And I think I would take Justin Ross over him, too.
How did each of them look on Saturday's game? Did they make any plays?
No.
Okay.
Nobody did anything. No. Non-existent, to be exact. Super Chat menu. If you would like to get involved in today's action, let's see who's going to send the first Super Chat of the day. And if you send in a Super Chat, you'll get priority. You'll get your questions answered first on our mailbag segment. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get your questions on. First time Super Chatter, you get the KC chant. $5 Super Chat will do the Mahomes song. $10 Super Chat will take some shots. $25 Super Chat will eat a spicy jelly bean, get bean boozled. $50 Super Chat will do a beer bong here on today's program. On that Bears, can you change it to their blue background?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Yeah. Coming up next, and then that says Priya season 2.
Got it.
All right. Get things situated before we begin this segment, folks. Up next, we will preview the Chiefs and Bears game coming up on Thursday night. And then we're going to get to know Kingsley a little bit more. And then we got our mailbag segment to follow after that. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. So all that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Joey, we ready to do this game preview?
Let's roll.
All right, here we go. Game preview time. Chiefs and Bears. Let's talk about it right now here on the Chiefs Report. And just like that, the preseason is almost over, folks. Welcome into this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us as we set the scene for Thursday night's preseason matchup between your Kansas City Chiefs and the Chicago Bears. The preseason finale, we will not see the starters, according to Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. But that doesn't mean tonight is a big game for the Chiefs. As you look at where these guys are at, a lot of guys competing for roster spots, competing for playing time, and a chance to separate themselves. Their last chance to show what they're made of. The Bears come in as 3.5-point favorites. The over-under set at 34.5. I got my 5 things to watch for that we'll go over here in just a bit. Before we do, we got a sub-battle going on between the Chiefs Report and Bears Now, who is hosted by former Chiefs Report host Harrison Graham. Yes, you heard that right. He's over on the Bears channel now. So if you want to stick it to Harry and show why we have the best fans in the NFL and, show Harry what he's missing here in the Kansas City Chiefs Report, go ahead and subscribe now to the channel. We're live for our watch parties throughout the season, including Thursday's game. We're bringing our daily news and rumors. We have our breaking news, mailbags, all that and more in one place right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. First up, let's talk about King Felix. The Chiefs' first-round pick out of Kansas State a year ago has been one of the talks of the offseason for Kansas City. We'll see how much playing time he actually gets on Thursday night with a lot of the key contributors not playing. So that remains to be seen how much we actually see of him. But if he plays a significant amount, I want to see him have that breakthrough game that we've been waiting to see. He's been awesome in training camp. We have seen the flashes. We've heard the rumblings, right? But whether it was last year in the regular season or this year in the preseason, none of us have seen it with our own eyes. And I got 4 eyes in live game action. I want to see it in live game action from King Felix, finally showing what he's made of, making some big plays. I don't even need to see a sack. I just want to see maybe it's a tackle for loss or some play where he blows up somebody. Just give me something. Give me anything, right? More on King Felix, a Super Bowl champion last year in his first season with Kansas City. He's played a lot of football in terms of just being out there, being available. 17 games as a rookie with 17 total tackles and 1 forced fumble, but we're still waiting for that big moment. And I wonder if Thursday night is the night that he finally has that breakout performance. You look at the statistics in the preseason, and they haven't been great. Just 5 total tackles, 4 solo tackles, and 1 pass breakup. Is this the night that he has his breakthrough? What do you guys think? I'm very curious if you believe it is. Who do you got tonight? You going with the Chiefs or are you going with the Bears in this matchup? If you think the Chiefs win, type C for Chiefs. If you think the Bears pull it off tonight, type B for Bears. I don't want to see any Bs for Bears in the chat. Spam those Cs, and we'll continue here on today's show. Number 2, what to watch for the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday night. Let's talk about the RB3s. The guys competing for that spot, Prince and Steele, both of them have had very good runs of it the last few weeks when you talk about training camp as well as these preseason games. Both these guys have stood out. I love what I've seen from both of them so far, and this could be the game that's the deciding factor who wins that RB3 job, and it's not impossible that one of them or both of them could potentially pass up CEH. That's not out of the realm of possibility just yet. But you look at what both these guys have done. Prince had a solid game last week against the Detroit Lions. In the preseason so far, he's had 11 carries for 63 yards, 5.7 yards per carry, and he's also a decent receiving back as well. So that brings another element to this Chiefs offense, as we know Andy Reid doesn't like to run the ball a ton, if we're going to be honest with you. They like to use the screen game as a substitute for the run game, and that's where a guy like Prince could potentially play a key role. Meanwhile, Carson Steele, the man of steel, was really good in that first preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now, what does he have? Can he separate himself from Prince? Can he have a big night on Thursday? So far, 7 carries, 37 yards, good average, 5.3 yards per carry. as well as a touchdown run. Watch out. Let's see what he can put together. Who would be the RB3 in your eyes? If you had to choose between one of these two, which would it be? Type Prince for Prince, type Steele for Steele. Let me know which running back you rather roll with in the comments section below. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is a place to go for last-minute tickets. The best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the stuff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets, folks. And they have their super deals as well. If you get a super deal, then you have really found something here, folks. Here's how it works. Choose the event you want to go to, whether it's the Chiefs preseason, maybe it's the Royals, Sporting Kansas City, maybe you want to go see a concert at the Kauffman Center. Plenty of options to choose from. And you choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, get the visual, very user-friendly and interactive. And just like that, you're checking out Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. It is fast, easy, and simple, folks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Check out Game Time today. Next up on our list of what to watch for from the Kansas City Chiefs, I want to see more from Cornell Powell. Cornell Powell at the wide receiver position had a breakout game last week against Detroit. What does he have for an encore this week? It is a crowded receiver room, right, of guys trying to compete to make a roster spot. You guys already know when we talk about the likes of Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore and Justin Ross, among others here. And now here's a guy in Cornell Powell who is looking the part so far throughout this preseason. His numbers, 4 catches, 88 yards, 22 yards per reception, 1 touchdown. The guys looked really good, and this is another chance for him to shine, and he's going to be working with a variety of quarterbacks on Thursday night. Let's see what he can do if he can potentially separate himself there. Number 4, Carson Wentz. This is a big opportunity for Carson Wentz. He is getting the start for the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday night, the first preseason game he has started. Mahomes, of course, started the previous 2. And going through walkthroughs and practices all week, it's a totally different ball game when you're preparing as the starter, right? And I want to see how much command of the offense Carson Wentz has. How much control, how comfortable does he feel in this starting role? What is he capable of? Because think about this. Nobody is expecting Carson Wentz to be a starting caliber quarterback as your backup QB. The days of him competing for MVPs and what he did in Philadelphia and all that, that is long gone, right? But Carson Wentz has a chance on Thursday night to say, you know what? If God forbid something happens to Patrick, I know this offense, I can run it, and we can do what we can to keep this train going if something happens to Patrick. This is a chance for him to settle in, get comfortable in case that day comes. Because think about this. We know the Chiefs are going to be a playoff team. We already know they're going to win the division and all that. But if Mahomes goes down, and we've seen Mahomes go down in the past, Carson Wentz, a game or 2 that he starts, could be the difference between this team being the 1 seed as opposed to being the 4 seed. That's how important the backup quarterback position is. So I just want to see how comfortable he fits in this offense, preparing as the starter, what he brings to the table. So far in the preseason, Carson Wentz has a completion percentage around 64%, 57 total yards, and a touchdown. It was that touchdown score to Xavier Worthy in that Detroit Lions game. Let's see what he's made of. What's your confidence level in Carson Wentz as the Chiefs' backup quarterback? How do you feel? Scale it for me in the comments section, 1 through 10. What you feel about Carson Wentz, let us know. Last up on our what to watch for the Kansas City Chiefs this week, it is the last chance for Justin Ross to show something, to prove why he should make this 53-man roster. In this competitive wide receiver room, there is somebody that's going to have to go, whether it's Toney, whether it's Sky Moore, whether it's Justin Ross, or all of them for that matter. We shall see. And Ross, he showed flashes of brilliance in that first game against the Jags with the catch of the week that week. That tiptoe catch he had was phenomenal. Now, what is he going to do when his job is on the line here? I would argue this is the most important game of Justin Ross's career to show what he's made of at this point and what he can do Thursday night. Can he be a target that the quarterbacks can't miss? Can he find ways to get open? Can he make an impact here? Going up against these second and third teamers from Chicago, this is a huge chance for Justin Ross to see what he's made of. And I don't know. Are we going to get Justin Ross that just kind of fades and goes missing? A 23-yard catch, that sounds nice, but that's not going to be enough. I need to see more than that. I need to see consistency from Justin Ross on Thursday night, a big game for him. What will the final score be in this Chiefs-Bears game? Who wins? What's the final score? Predict it for me in the comment section. Let us know what you think of how this game ultimately plays out. Thanks for joining us here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Don't miss out on our Chiefs Report watch party live Thursday night right here on the channel. We shall see you then. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV to subscribe now. Thanks for joining us. All right. Halfway home. Next up, we will get to our segment on the King, and then we'll get to Q&A mailbag at this point. So let's ask you, if you had to pick an RB3, Prince or Steele, which one do you lean towards as Joey Peterson rejoins me now? Joey, what do you think about this battle here at RB3?
It's hard to say because I got to see Steele play really well against the Jags, and I didn't get to see Prince last week play against Detroit. And so I saw Steele at his best, haven't seen Prince at his best. I just think it's funny because it's split in the comment section. Half people are saying Steele, half people are saying Prince. I think Prince might just have a little bit more of an upside than Steele does.
Yeah, I mean, Steele had that game against the Jags, but I think throughout the last few weeks, Joey, we've seen a little more consistency from Prince of playing well in the preseason last week, playing well throughout camp. Steele just kind of came out of nowhere these last two preseason games.
Yeah, he really did. Like, that game against the Jags, I remember I was producing that for Harry, and we kept looking at each other. We were like, this is insane. He just keeps breaking off long runs.
Yeah.
Just kind of came out of nowhere. Neither of us were expecting it. I don't think anybody was. And good on him for that. But I just think when you're looking at, okay, who's the better running back that I want to give this job to, I think Prince has just a little higher upside.
All right, who do you guys say in the chat? Paul says Steele. Darnell says Steele. Cole says Steele. Ed says Steele. So nobody's saying Prince. I'm a little surprised. The chat is very pro-Steele.
Taylor was saying Prince during the section.
Okay.
And I thought I saw more Princes. I guess I didn't.
Okay.
So just Taylor. Emac saying Prince as well.
Okay. Well, let us know which running back you rather roll with. Still waiting to see who's going to send that first Super Chat of the day. First-time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5 Super Chat will do the Mahomes song. $10 Super Chat will take down some shots. $25 Super Chat will eat a spicy jelly bean. $50 Super Chat will do a beer bong. And if we reach 200, we'll get out a boot. I will do a boot on this show, 3 beers in 1, but we got to get there first. We need your help to reach that point. Up next, let's talk about Kingsley as we'll get to know him a little bit further and the process the Chiefs went to drafting him. I mean, it was straight up highway robbery, folks. We'll explain more here in just a bit. Also got a Q&A mailbag that we'll get to. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on that mailbag portion of the show. We'll have that coming up later. Right now, though, let's get started with our segment to get to know Kingsley and the highway robbery the Chiefs pulled off right now. Welcome in to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we're going to get the chance to get to know this guy. Yeah, that guy right there a little bit further. And how he ended up with the Kansas City Chiefs and what exactly he's bringing to this Chiefs team. It was quite the steal. We'll explain more in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. Show some love to the new king of Kansas City. Spam king in the comments section. I want to see no less than 300 kings in the comments. Who knows? He may be watching. Family may be watching. Somebody close to him. We want to make it heard loud and clear that we're rooting on the king and want to see him do well here in Kansas City. Highway robbery. That is what people are saying when it comes to the selection of bringing in Kingsley to Kansas City by Chiefs GM Brett Veach there in the second round of the 2024 NFL Draft. And what the Chiefs found in a guy that kind of slipped through the cracks, right? There was a lot of left tackles that were drafted in this year's draft back in April. And here he is. The Chiefs got their guy. They got their starting left tackle for the foreseeable future. Well, everyone else kind of just missed on him. How did that happen? What exactly is he going to bring to the Chiefs? Let's explain. Let's start with the scouting report on Kingsley. He's thick, not T-H-I-C-C thick, the real kind of thick, T-H-I-C-K. Strapping build, got a good overall burst and quickness. He steals away leverage on rushers. He has hip flexibility to adjust angles. Hips don't lie, folks. And on top of all of that, he is a mauler in space. This dude's a bear, not a Chicago bear, thank goodness. But he's one of us. He is quite the just animal when it comes to protecting the blind side. And let's get to know him a little bit more with his player profile here. The second-round pick out of Brigham Young was a second-team All-Big 12 selection this past year. And you think about it, BYU made that transition from being independent, where they played kind of a soft schedule, to the Big 12 Conference, one of the top conferences in college football last year. And the transition for him was seamless, going to the Big 12 and facing some really good defenders, some really good edge rushers. He held his own to the Big 12 Conference last year. Mel Kiper, this is what we talk about with him being under the radar. Mel Kiper Jr. had him as the number 9 offensive tackle entering the draft last season. And, you know, I'm a big fan of Pro Football Focus. I think they do a really good job. But I think his PFF grades were one reason why he kind of slipped through the cracks, as his overall grade wasn't that great, 67.5. But as you read into it a little bit further, then you start to see, okay, this guy has something special about him. He allowed just 2 sacks, 5 hits, 6 hurries, got called for 4 penalties last year. And for me, I look at it this way. The Chiefs, with the King, have found their starting left tackle for the foreseeable future. Well, no one else was talking about him. The Chiefs found their guy. That, folks, hardly ever happens in the second round. Typically, we see outside of quarterback, the left tackles are what everybody's looking for in that first round of the draft. For the Chiefs to find their guy, for him to be ready to go and be this starting left tackle immediately, it was just an unbelievable flex on the part of Brett Veach. Do you believe in the King? What do you guys think? It's our pinned comment today. Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in and let us know. Now, when I look a little further in dissecting this situation of bringing the King to Kansas City and what exactly he's going to do here, I'm reminded of Andy Reid is an offensive line guy, right? That is Andy's bread and butter. And Andy is not going to give an opportunity on a silver platter to anybody, right? He has earned this chance. And the reason why is because he is that dude, because he's done the little things, because he's doing everything right. Jeff Schwartz, former member of the Kansas City Chiefs, now an analyst covering the National Football League for SiriusXM, he did some film study on what Kingsley did in that second preseason game against Detroit. And I thought he made some interesting notes on what he's seen so far out of him. Good couple of notes. Looked comfortable with the ones, which is a good start. Wasn't much action in the run game, but showed good, solid movement skills. Pass pro clearly defined good and bad reps, depending on his punch. When he punched, he was great in position. When he didn't punch, the rep wasn't as good. However, his recovery with lower body is impressive. The key here is those punches. It's the aggressiveness that he brings, and I want to see more of that. Bring more of the punches, that aggressiveness, That's going to go a long way and play a pivotal role in him being the Chiefs' starting left tackle. Andy Reid had this to say recently on Kingsley. He's working, number one, hard on things that we're trying to teach him. There are a lot of new things that he's learned, and he's playing aggressively and getting better every day. He's not taking steps back, which is important. He's getting to go against good players, which is also important, and competing there. This is a work in progress. It's not going to be overnight. There's going to be some peaks and valleys as a rookie, a second-round rookie. But everything we've seen so far, he's heading in the right direction and doing the little things that he needs to do at this point. What's your confidence level in Kingsley? I feel pretty dang good, if I'd say so myself, about what I've seen from him so far. Scale it for me. If Andy Reid is buying in, I'm going to buy in. Let me know. 1 through 10. Scale it for me in the comment section below. Now, if we were to take a ride on the hot tub time machine to a couple of years ago to Creed Humphrey's rookie season, Creed Humphrey was incredible, and he was a second-rounder as well. Remember, Creed was arguably the best center in football from day one. He made that type of impact right away and was a home run pick and was a guy back then that other teams were saying to themselves, how did we miss on this guy? How did he slip to the second round? How did he go to the Chiefs of all teams? I mean, like, teams were just frustrated that they let this happen. I feel similar here. It reminds me of that situation with Creed. Obviously, they play different positions on the offensive line, but another guy that fell to the Chiefs that other teams could have had and is going to be an immediate impact player and a difference maker right away. And Creed Humphrey has spoken glowingly about him as well. He said this: there's a lot of stuff going on during training camp, especially as a rookie. He's done a good job being able to process stuff, study on his own that night, and do things like that. He's done a good job in picking up on stuff well. So for him, it's just continuing to get those reps against a really good defense and defensive ends right now. It's going to be really helpful for him, so it's been good. He's getting better every day, and you could tell he's bought in and working hard to get better every day too. More on this. We'll get to the depth chart here in just a moment, but first, let's tell you about today's sponsor. That is Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for last-minute tickets. The best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have what they call super deals as well. If you come across a super deal, then you've really found something here, folks. Here's how it works. Choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat. You get the visual. See if you like this seat or not. I've done this with Game Time when I've gone to Arrowhead, and I had great success. You will have great success. You'll be very pleased, too. And you can use all major credit card providers, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo as well. Very fast, simple, and easy, folks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Let's go to the depth chart. As you can see, Kingsley is on tap to be the starting left tackle, beating a guy out in Wanya Morris that's been there for a few years now, that's been in this scheme. That says a lot in itself. And you look at the rest of this offensive line, I mean, we know about Joe Thuney. He's very solid. Creed Humphrey, one of the best at his position. Trey Smith, one of the best at his position. Jahan Taylor, obviously, he got a little banged up, but he should be fine. This offensive line is going to be really good, especially if Kingsley can do his part. And now let's circle back to Brett Veach, where we began this show. Where we began is where we end today. And think about this. What did the Chiefs do in the first round? They traded up a couple spots for Xavier Worthy. And Xavier was a great pick. I'm excited about Xavier Worthy. But Veach said a while back that had they stayed at 32, they were considering taking Kingsley at the 32 spot. All right? That's how much of a steal it was for them to get him in the second round when he was on their board then. Here's more from Veach. I think we had a pretty good indication with the number of quarterbacks this year, the number of other offensive linemen, there would be a chance that a player like Xavier might slide where we picked, but he was certainly in one of those top 25 to 40 considerations. He was potentially a consideration at number 32, and he was potentially a consideration had we traded down. The last thing I'll end on this, when it comes to Kingsley, is as a rookie, obviously it is a change going to the National Football League. You are joining a team that's won back-to-back Super Bowls, that's won 3 in this Mahomes era, and the spotlight's going to be on you. You are protecting the most talented quarterback to ever play the game of American tackle football in Patrick Mahomes. That's a tall task. And for Kingsley, the main thing I think after all this, when we talk about being aggressive and comparing him to Creed Humphrey and all this, I think is he's got to embrace the moment. He can't be scared. And that's something that Patrick Mahomes has talked about too. He's got better and better, and he wasn't scared of the moment. I love hearing that. I think that's a big thing. I remember me coming in as a rookie. I didn't even get thrown in with the ones like that. He comes straight in from combine training, getting thrown in with the ones, and he's competing. He's not making the same mistakes twice, and that's huge. He's the second person on today's show alone to say he's not making the same mistakes twice. Was he the Chiefs' best draft pick? Or was it Xavier Worthy or Jaden Hicks or somebody else? Weigh in, let us know. Y for yes, in for no. Chime in, let me know what you think. Appreciate you joining us here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report for continuing Chiefs coverage on social media. You can follow me on X at Tyler Jones Live. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right, last segment. As we get to our mailbag here in just a second, hashtag Seahawks Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Joey.
Hashtag Chiefs. Not
that word.
Not that one.
I didn't say that. I said Chiefs. Yeah. Hashtag Chiefs. Man, almost went the whole show without saying that. Hashtag Chiefs to get on the mailbag portion of the show. When you do that show for 2 years, it's kind of hard to get out of your system, you know.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
I got that show tomorrow too. Joey, what do you think? Was the King I almost said it again. Was the King the Chiefs' best draft pick?
Maybe for the value when you heard Breach say, or Veach, man, you got me stumbling now too.
Oh.
When you hear Veach saying that they were thinking about drafting him at that 32 spot, being able to get him in the second round, maybe from a value standpoint. I'm really curious to see what Xavier Worthy does to this wide receiver room, though. I think that could be the best one, especially with what he did against Detroit this last week. But it'll all come out in the wash. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. What do you guys think? Was he the Chiefs' best draft pick? Paul says yes. Tony says yes. Lonnie says yes. What do you guys think? Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in. Joey, we're about to do our mailbag segment, and we could use some more questions.
We could use some more questions. Everybody, there's 67 people watching right now. If you guys want an opportunity to get on the show, go down the comment section. Just like Tony's been doing all show long. Use hashtag Chiefs, ask a question. Or ask a question, then use hashtag Chiefs. But if you want a chance to get on the show, we'll choose 3, maybe 4 questions. If you want anything to ask Tyler, just ask in the comment section. You might get on the show.
Simple as that. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. There's the Super Chat menu today. Haven't seen a Super Chat come through yet. I would love to change that. I would love to have a good time with y'all before we call it a day. First time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5 do the Mahomes song. $10 take shots. $25 eat a spicy jelly bean. $50 we'll do a beer bong. We reach 200. We're doing a boot here on today's program. Q&A mailbag up next. Our final segment before we call it a day. Because we got to get out of here because, Joey, you got a Rangers game to go to tonight?
Taking the company tickets, going to see the Rangers, my Rangers, so I'm really excited about it.
Who's the crew with you tonight?
Me, Kennedy, my wife,
Okay.
Petey, and Shay.
Oh, so a little date night.
Double date.
Okay.
Yep. I'm
Very
excited.
nice. Very nice. They're at the Rangers game this evening. So that sounds like fun. Who do the Rangers got tonight?
They got the Pirates.
Okay.
Skeens is not pitching, though. I was hoping he was.
That's
that was
too
like
bad.
the first thing I checked out. But he will not be pitching. But coming off a big win last night, Corey Seager hit 2 bombs. So we'll see if they can keep the momentum.
Okay. So let's see. Lonnie's got a question. I need about 2 more, and then we'll get this mailbag segment started. Tony's saying, have fun, Jerry. Who's Jerry? Is he calling you Jerry?
I guess so. Tony, come on, man. I thought we were friends. What's up with that?
I bet you've been called a lot of things. I bet Jerry's a new one.
Jerry is a new one. It's mostly people get my last name wrong because it's spelled weird.
With an E?
With an E, yeah.
Peterson's his last name, by the way.
Yeah, Peterson's my last name with an E, all E's. Haven't heard Jerry, though. That's new.
Jerry Peterson. Sounds like a serial killer. It kind of does. Tony says, sorry, I can't see well. That's fine. No worries. We're just giving you a hard time, Tony. I'm going to build Okay. 2 more questions, then we'll start. I'll put about a minute on the clock, and then we'll get to the mailbag segment here in just a moment before we sign off and call it a day here on this Tuesday afternoon. Reminder, we will be live right here on the Chiefs Report coming up on Thursday night for the Chiefs matchup against the Chicago Bears. Our coverage is going to begin at 6:30 Central Time, so don't miss out on that. Tyler Smith, Smitty, is going to be here in the house with me. He's done some Chiefs shows before. He and I have worked together for a while, so we'll have a great time. So don't miss out on that. Chiefs, Bears, live right here on the Chiefs Report. We'll see you then, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern, right here on the channel for our final preseason watch party before we turn our attention to the regular season when the Chiefs take on the Ravens there week 1. I said I needed 2 more questions. Ty Man the Buckeye in the chat. Good to see you, Ty Man. He says, what's up, Tyler and Joey? Good to see you, Ty Man. Ty Man, you got a question? JB, you got a question? I need 2 more. 1 more minute before we start this mailbag segment, but I need about 2 more questions before we get this thing started. And then we'll roll along here and call today here in just a bit. Tony says, have fun, Joey. I love baseball. Tony, are you a Royals fan? Who's your team, Tony? Let us know. All right. There we go. Tony says he's hyped for the season. I would be too. There's no reason for Chiefs fans to not be hyped for the season at this point. Tony's a Royals fan. Very nice. That's my team too. Let's see here. One more. Joey says we need 1 more question. Ty Man, Lonnie, JB, who's going to send 1 more question to us? And then we'll start the segment. I need 1 more, and then we'll wrap up on this Thursday afternoon here on the channel. And then we'll do it. Let's see. Rob, that's a great question, but you got to use hashtag Chiefs. I can put it in there. Okay. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. And we'll include your questions in. See, Rob, the question's got to be with the hashtag Chiefs. You got to have hashtag Chiefs and your question in the same message. It's a good effort, Rob, but the execution not quite there. College football starting this week. Joey, you excited for some college football?
Dude, I'm so excited. I'm a little worried that it'll be a little bit like NFL preseason when it's not like the best teams playing and it's not the best games. But, man, just to be back, to have game day on Saturday, it's going to be awesome.
Not going to complain about getting Florida State, Georgia Tech.
That's fair. That's going to be a good one. I'm excited to see how DJU looks.
Right.
See if Georgia Tech's made any, I don't know. They had a pretty surprising season last year, so see if they can take another jump.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Some college football. And it times out well. I have to work. Oh, got a super chat. We went the whole show with getting a super chat. I'm glad we didn't leave today without getting at least 1. We will take that. Rob will throw you on screen in just a bit with your super chat. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited for college football. Obviously, a big year for my Kansas Jayhawks. Coming off 9 wins last season. Jalen Daniels back, Devin Neal and company. Going to be a lot of fun to see what the Jayhawks do as I got my KU Yeti here. You guys know me. I'm always represented. Just some water out of this, though. Okay. Okay. Lonnie's a Knowles fan. Says Knowles all day. Paul says Boomer Sooner. Okay, Paul. I think OU is going to surprise some people this year. I think OU can win 10 games and make the college football playoff. I know they have the toughest schedule in the SEC among conference opponents. The SEC did not do them any favors with that schedule. But I think that OU can make the playoff potentially. I like Jackson Arnold a lot. I'm intrigued, like that quarterback class, Joey, with Nico, Arnold, and then Arch Manning. Who is going to be the best of those three for the next few years? Like, we're not going to figure that out this year. This is going to be, I think, an ongoing discussion. Even into the NFL, we're going to look at these three guys, I think, telling their stories together here.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty good 30 for 30 in 20 years, huh?
Right.
I'm really excited to see what Nico can do. Really excited, like you said, who's going to have the edge? Who's going to separate themselves out of those three guys? Hoping it's Nico, but I'm excited just for next year when they're all not only starters, but like multiple, two of them have a year under their belt.
Right.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's see. Okay. Rob, we'll put your super chat here on screen in just a moment. We're having a little technical issue, so stand by. But don't worry, we have not forgotten about you, Rob. If you want to be like Rob, you can send in a super chat as well, and you'll get priority in the mailbag segment. And we can have ourselves a dandy of a time here on today's show. Cheers. Chiefs and Bears coming up Thursday night. We'll be live for that here on the channel. Coverage begins 6:30 Central right here on the Chiefs Report, so don't miss out. And this live show we're doing here on Tuesday, this is going to be a regular thing. We're going to be with you every Tuesday going forward. I'll be here. Joey will be here most weeks too. So if you're having a great time today, just go ahead and make this appointment viewing to hang out with us here on the Chiefs Report each and every Tuesday afternoon here on the channel. We got Rob's now? Okay, no worries. Here we go. First super chat of the day comes in from Rob Miller with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Rob, for that. Cheers to you, Rob. And I will answer his question here. Do we pick up any more free agents, corner, running back, or edge? I'll go a little further in this in the mailbag segment, but Joey, I think they wait till the 53-man roster cuts and see who becomes available. And I think the corner position, there's a decent chance. With the names that are out there, like the Marshawn Lattimores, the James Bradburys of the world, I could see them making a play for one of those guys that doesn't make a roster potentially.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think when it's a team like this, you're never going to stop trying to improve yourself. When
right.
You're trying to do something like 3-peat, which is unreal, impossible, some are saying, you're going to do whatever you can to try to give yourself any kind of edge. So I wouldn't put it past them to add any of these three.
Yeah, I think that's certainly possible. Rob, thanks for that super chat. We'll include it in the mailbag. We ready to go?
Let me build one more.
Okay. Joey needs another minute, and then we'll start the mailbag segment here as we continue here on this Tuesday afternoon. If you missed any of today's show, the archive version will be up after the show concludes, so you can go back, start from the beginning. Also, all these segments we do, they go out as individual videos throughout the week as well, so be on the lookout for that on the channel here of our segments from today, including this mailbag segment. I believe we're going to have it go out over the weekend. So with that in mind, we will go ahead and get started here in just a bit with our mailbag segment. Still, you can get your questions in, hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to be included on our Chiefs Report live show here on this Tuesday afternoon. Tyler Jones, Joey Peterson here with you. Thanks for joining us here on the channel today. Tony is asking, I'm not going to answer this in the mailbag. I'll just answer it right now. Tony wants to know, will Florida State win the ACC? I think so. I'm not a big believer in DJU, but I don't think he's going to be asked to do a ton in that Florida State offense. That defense, I think, is going to be really good. And I don't think there's a ton of tough competition. I don't think Miami is that great. I like Cam Ward, but I don't like their head coach, Mario Cristobal. Virginia Tech, I think, is going to be improved. Clemson, I think, is going to be a decent team. But as far as that question goes, Joey, I know you're a big college football guy too. Florida State, I have winning the ACC. You got Miami, though, right?
Yeah, and that's because I am a big believer in Cam Ward. I think
you think he can overcome his head coach.
I do. It's interesting. They're an interesting team. I think Mario Cristobal has done an incredible job surrounding them with talent. Now it's going to be, okay, can they do anything with that talent? Can they do anything with it?
I think he's a very good recruiter, not a very good coach.
Yes, he is. But I just think with who they brought in at quarterback, who they brought in at running back, who they have in at wide receiver, and just the way that they've recruited and all those guys just getting a year older, I think they're going to be really hard to beat. I'm not a huge, like you are, I'm not a huge DJU guy. I don't think he's going to be able to lead Florida State to a title.
Yeah, we'll see. With that said, let's begin our final segment. Rumors mailbag time. We'll answer your questions, hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. That begins right now. It's mailbag time here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. You got questions, you're in luck because I got answers as we got plenty to talk about. You guys sent in a couple trade ideas that we'll talk about. A little free agency and more. We'll go over all of that here on today's show. Before we do, folks, I want to make sure not only that you're subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, but you're also part of what we call the Noti Gang here on the channel. Those are the ones, the real ones, that have their notifications turned on, and they're the first to know when we have new content here on the channel. For daily Kansas City Chiefs news and rumors, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, live shows, watch parties, and more, you got to subscribe and turn on notifications. If you're in that Noti Gang, spam Noti Gang in the comment section. We'll get going here on the Chiefs Report. Rob Miller with a $2 super chat writes in, do we pick up any more free agents, corner, running back, or edge? Rob, here's my thinking, my state of mind, if you will, Rob. So we're going to get the roster cut down day coming up next week. And there is going to be some good players that end up getting cut, that don't make the 53-man rosters around the NFL. Obviously, you have the waiver wire and all that, and then you got players that got to clear waivers and others that won't even touch the waiver wire before they can sign. But with that said, I think that there is a decent number of quality corners that are going to be looking for homes elsewhere. And the biggest question mark for this Kansas City Chiefs team entering 2024 is the corner position. We know Trent McDuffie's a superstar, but he could potentially use some reinforcements. And Brett Veach, although he's got a championship quality roster here, we know this team is always looking to get better. Might be a Marshawn Lattimore, might be a James Bradbury, one of those type of guys that they can get on a pretty cheap contract. I could see that happening. The other two, I'd be surprised, but corner, I could see certainly as a possibility. Hawk Tua Forever writes in, I saw the first pitch at the Mets game. Hopefully they don't let her hit the drum at Arrowhead anytime soon. Could the Chiefs trade for Tyler Lockett? Great question there, Hawk Tua Forever. So let's talk Tyler Lockett for a moment. Tyler Lockett has had a very good career with the Seattle Seahawks. A Tulsa, Oklahoma native, my hometown. Shout out to the 918. He's been very good, and Seattle's been very lucky to have him. We know about his dad, of course, played for the Chiefs. He grew up going to Chiefs games. He was a Chiefs fan. And if he were to play for anyone other than the Seattle Seahawks, I think it would be the Kansas City Chiefs. And here's the reality of the situation, though. I don't think the Seattle Seahawks are trading Tyler Lockett. They just restructured his deal over the offseason. They're kind of going all in on what they got this year with a pretty good receiving core out there in Seattle with DK Metcalf and JSN and Tyler Lockett at part of the fold. But next year, his cap hit in Seattle is going to be about $31 million, which means they're not keeping him. They're not paying him $31 million next year. He will be released, and either he will retire or he will play for somebody else. Highly unlikely he's not back in Seattle next year. So although I don't think he's on the trade market, I don't think the Seahawks are trading him and ending up at Kansas City, I think there's a decent chance that he's a free agent next year, plays for, not a ton of money, and ends his career coming home to Kansas City with the Kansas City Chiefs and would be a very good fit for this Chiefs team next year. A veteran wide receiver that is well-liked, well-respected, that's still very productive. I think he'd be a good fit, but not right now. I think that's a guy to keep an eye on next offseason. Should the Chiefs trade for Tyler Lockett? If it's a possibility, if they can do so, would you do it? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in the comments section. Let us know if you would trade for Tyler Lockett or not. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different sports and categories to choose from. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first deposit, folks. And here's what I got for Prize Picks. Looking ahead to the start of the football season, my friends, I got an entry that you're not going to want to pass up on. Looking ahead to week 1, I got Caleb Williams to have more than 236.5 passing yards. I got our old friend Tyreek Hill to have more than 90.5 receiving yards. Let's say I put $20 down and this hits. That turns into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for that $100 deposit match. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Prize Picks, proud partner of the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. Check them out today. You will be glad you did. All right, next question. Our president, El Presidente, good to see you. Checking in on the Chiefs Report, says, any chance we could trade for Marshawn Lattimore? I think there's a chance. Certainly so. And you wouldn't have to give up a ton. You'd have to take on the contract and all that. But what I'm more interested in is if he does get cut. And if he does get cut in the coming days, then sign him. Sign him, get him on a cheap contract, add him to that corner room. And think about this, all right? Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, that we and the Chiefs feel good about this corner room. That we say, you know what, we'll roll with what we got. What if there's an injury? What if somebody goes down? Somebody doesn't play up to expectations? Marshawn Lattimore would be a nice insurance policy, would be a nice safety net. And although I wouldn't want to pay him a ton of money, the Chiefs have something that no one else, none of the 31 teams in the NFL can offer a player like Marshawn Lattimore. They can say, you know what? Do you want to win a championship? We have a championship pedigree here. We're coming off back-to-back Super Bowls, and we're going to be right back in the thick of things again next year, this year, and for many years to come. Do you want that opportunity? It's right there for you. So for me, that's what I'd be telling Marshawn Lattimore. Look, it's been rough in New Orleans. That team hasn't been good in a long time. Here's your chance. I think it could make sense for Kansas City here. Should the Chiefs trade for Marshawn Lattimore? I say no, but I would revisit it if he's available in free agency, if he gets cut. What do you guys think? Y for yes, N for no. Let us know if you would trade for Lattimore or not. Lonnie wants to know, after the first 3 linebackers, who's next to fill the depth? Very good question, Lonnie. When I look at the Chiefs' depth chart right now at the linebacker position, obviously you got Drew, Nick, and Leo holding down those linebacker spots. But I think Cam Jones is going to be solid. I like Jack Cochran a lot. Cole Christensen, we'll see. Curtis Jacobs was pretty decent in the preseason game. We'll see if he makes a roster spot. But this linebacker room, I think, is better than what people give it credit for, what it's recognized for. We've seen that Veach has done a good job not overpaying the linebacker room over the years. He's going to have to pay Nick Bolton here pretty soon. But I think it's very solid, and I think Drew's going to have another very good season as well. Time for about one or two more here. Next one says, I believe in Spivey. Grinding. Hey, I believe too. I like it. Let's believe. Let's do it. Darius says, Chiefs say things don't go as planned and our number one running back goes down. Are you comfortable with CEH and Prince taking a bulk of the snaps? No, I'm not. And I'll say this. This is a situation where I think you can wait. Here's what I mean, folks. If that situation were to happen, if Pacheco goes down, if you lose him, then let's go to the market. Let's make a potential trade, or let's go make a signing if that day comes. But I think CEH and Prince and Steele are good enough for your backup roles with Pacheco there. But I don't necessarily trust them if I have to have them as the primary back. That remains to be seen. So for me, that's kind of the situation I'm looking at this point with that running back room, is that if that situation were to occur, then we revisit it and the Chiefs potentially make a change and go find somebody. But at least for now, I would roll with where we're at there. Last question. Ryan wants to know, how are we feeling about a three-peat? Do you think it's on the table? Absolutely, it's on the table. And as I've said many times before, and I'll continue to reiterate, last year's roster was the worst in the Mahomes era. They were, the 3 seed last year? 3 seed, 4 seed? Had to play a wild card game, had to go on the road to Buffalo, on the road to Baltimore, and it still didn't matter. Still won the whole damn thing. This year's team's even better than last year. One of the best teams we've seen, I think, in the Mahomes era so far. Three-peat, they're the favorites. It's all on the table. It's Kansas City versus the world. Thanks for joining us here on the Chiefs Report for continuing Kansas City Chiefs coverage. Subscribe now for free. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time. All right. We are just about out of here today. And we'll wrap up here in just a moment before we call it a reminder. You can join us. We'll put a minute on the clock. If we get a Super Chat video out, we'll keep the show going for a bit. If not, we'll sign off and call it a day. Reminder, we are going to be live coming up Thursday night. Smitty's going to join me. Chiefs and Bears right here on the channel. So if you haven't already, subscribe now and join us coming up on Thursday night. Coverage begins 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern, right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Joe, as we're wrapping up here, any final thoughts? Anything you need to get off your chest here?
I don't think so. I think that was a fun show. Good little audience. Enjoyed hanging out with all you guys today. 72 likes. Not bad. We got a super chat. Good questions. I'm feeling good. I'm just getting ready, man, for that Baltimore KC game. Gosh, that's going to be an awesome kickoff.
So in case people don't know, I'll tell this real quick before we go. Joey, who you see working on this show, doing a very good job, is our Baltimore Ravens host. And he'll be live on the Ravens channel for that game. So I just hope you're ready for the battle that's coming between the Chiefs Report and Ravens Rundown. And they don't like me over there right now.
They don't. That might be a moneymaker right there.
They do not like me over there. For reasons that you all can figure out with some just little bit of research.
Tiny bit of research.
Really, just a tiny bit of research is all it would take. They don't like me over there. I'm excited for that night. Not only to open up the season, but to have a little battle between these two channels. I can't wait. I might have to send a video message over to the Ravens Rundown. Just, hey guys, how we doing?
Please do. We'll get the booze going in the chat just like on Saturday. It'll be awesome.
Oh, it'd be great. Guys, we'll sign off. Appreciate you joining us. Make sure to join us Thursday night. Smitty's going to join me. We'll have a great time. For Joey Peterson, I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks so long. Have a great night.